Start with a big stretch up. Back in our boxes.
Yeah, how's it going, Mike?
It's going good.
You want to
It's
start
going
us off,
good.
boy?
I mean, sure. Hey guys. I mean, welcome.
Yeah, boy.
Welcome to this week's Packcast. What's going on?
Introduce yourself, boy.
Yeah, what's your name,
So,
good sir?
my
Good
name.
guest?
My name is Michael Jorge. That is me.
Who are you, other human?
So I am.
There's an
Jacob
order
Wade.
to things.
Okay,
There's
I'm
an
sorry.
order to things.
Okay, all right. I get myself used to it. All right. So
It's okay,
I
we can't
am
expect him to be Jeremy.
That is true. That is true.
Not Jeremy, he's Mike.
We gotta cut him some slack.
It's his first day.
So I am a New York-based actor and voice actor, talent extraordinaire. That is me. I wear many hats, do many things. But yeah, that is kind of my life, acting and the such.
Fantastic.
Yes, indeed. Jacob,
Thanks
you want to
for being
reintroduce yourself?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm Jacob Wade,
And I'm Logan Riley Bruner.
and here we are.
We are off to a lovely start. Back at the Packcast after 2 weeks off due to the departure of our beautiful boy, Jeremy.
Rest in peace, Jeremy.
He's gone. Gone forever. No, Jeremy's just at camp. And so for the months of June and July, we're going to have guests. And that's why you see Mike at the bottom of the screen. Lovely guest. Mike is he's the structure on which we are built for this episode. The plank that holds Jacob and I in place, as you can see by our Zoom placement. And we're really excited to have you. Jacob, is there any, I'm going to throw it to you this week. Is there any housekeeping that we have to do before we kick things out?
I'm trying to think of housekeeping for us. We're working on acoustic covers. They are officially in motion.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on our Instagram for those coming pretty soon. Gotta say, we've just, we've been working and we've got things in the works that we won't tell you details about yet, but they're coming. And we're really excited to be collaborating with artists from all over for you guys.
For the people.
For the people. Logan, is there anything that I missed? I'm trying to think.
Not really. I mean, every week on the Packcast, we're going to be having new guests, so that's an exciting thing to look forward to. We're very privileged to have a bunch of really great people who are going to be here helping us keep this thing rolling. So it's not just me and Jacob talking to each other for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We will also be making announcements of new things coming soon on those episodes. So keep your ears open, and we will be bringing new stuff to you.
For sure.
Speaking of new stuff being brought to us, this week Netflix came with a lot of announcements.
Yes, let's talk about those, shall we?
We shall. You know which one I want to start with because it's one of my favorite shows.
Please do.
So, Stranger Things season 4 added 4 new cast members this week as part of, Mike, you were telling me, is it Geek Week?
So it's Geeked Week that I believe this is the first time that Netflix has done a kind of like, if anybody's similar to like an E3 event that they do for video games where they have a week-long event that they just drop trailers and do announcements for all of the things that are coming out. But this week specifically is all surrounded on like fantasy thing or TV shows and movies that are fantasy related, adaptations and things like that.
So as a part of this lovely new initiative that Netflix is doing, they announced 4 new cast members for Stranger Things. So Jacob, why don't you go through these new cast members for us?
Yeah, let's talk about Stranger Things season 4. All right, here we go. Starting off, we've got Amy Beth McNulty from Anne with an E. Whoever saw that. Amy Beth McNulty plays Anne. She's playing Vicky in this season of Stranger Things, who is a cool, fast-talking band nerd who catches the eye of one of our beloved heroes. I wonder who it's gonna be. Next up, we've got Miles Truitt. I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. Miles, if you're watching, please correct me in the comments. You may have seen Miles in Queen Sugar. He'll be playing Patrick, a Hawkins basketball star who has friends, talent, and a good life until shocking events send his life spiraling out of control. Uh-oh. I wonder what's going to happen to Patrick. And next up, we've got Regina Ting Chen from Queen of the South playing Mrs. Kelly. a popular guidance counselor who cares deeply for her students, especially those struggling the most. So this season we've got a guidance counselor at Hawkins.
New adults.
Yes. Interesting. Someone for them all to vent to when they're not venting to each other, because I guess they've done a bunch of that. Next up, we've got Grace Van Dien. Grace Van Dien.
Think
from the
Dien? Dien
Dien?
feels right.
Hey, Grace, you're gonna have to correct me. You might have seen her in The Village. She's playing Chrissy, Hawkins High's lead cheerleader, and the most popular girl in school. Okay. But beneath the seemingly perfect surface lies a dark secret. Whoa! These new characters are sounding so interesting so far.
Every new announcement about this season has just gotten me more and more excited. They're just like slow and sure. It just makes me so happy.
Where are they going this season, So many new characters so far.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because we had one announcement like, 6 months ago that was like 8 new characters?
Yeah. I don't remember all their names and their roles yet, or now, but I do remember that announcement.
It's exciting. It's exciting to see all the build up for it. It's
gonna be like a big ensemble cast, huh?
I know, especially after the way that the last season ended, guys. That's what I'm saying.
Do you think that Russians are even gonna be at play this season?
Yes,
they gotta be.
I feel like they talked about the Russians in the last character announcement.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Because I mean, they also teased.
The first teaser, was.
First teaser is pretty Russian.
Yeah.
Pretty Russian.
They hit that Russian aspect pretty hard on the head in that first one.
Yeah, and then the second, not as Russian, but
the second we go back to where it all began.
Yeah, this 4th season seems epic so far.
Yeah, it's really exciting to watch a show that I don't know. I feel like the first season was so the little show that could, and now it's this incredible phenomenon. I love it so much.
It's it's really picked up, and I think especially it's very much helped with the popularization of a lot of nerd culture as of the past couple years that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being a geek is cool now.
You know what I mean?
Do you know how many D&D campaigns blossomed because Stranger Things went into the sphere?
I bet.
I mean, Mike and I are in what, 5?
Yeah, seriously. I can only imagine. You know what I mean? I can only imagine how many.
What else did Netflix announce? Mike, I know there were things that you wanted to talk about.
Oh, yes. Netflix announced Umbrella Academy Season 3.
Okay.
Yes. Coming back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They also announced a new series, or a new spin-off series that they're doing for Castlevania that just ended. Yeah.
Okay.
Super, super cool. Also, they announced that they're doing more live-action adaptations to animes. They just announced that they're doing Cowboy Bebop.
Wow, live-action Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah.
Have they announced any actors?
I think they had a couple.
I bet it's on IMDb.
I'm flying to my IMDb on my phone. We have John Cho, who's playing Spike, Alex Hassel, Daniela Pineda, Elena Satine. It looks like an interesting cast.
Interesting. Yeah, the last Netflix anime live action that I saw was Death Note, I think. Did Netflix do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of that as someone who's not really an anime person?
As someone who's not really an anime person, I thought it was all right. It made me want to watch the anime because I had a feeling it was better.
Interesting.
Yeah.
100%.
It's intriguing to me.
100%.
It's intriguing to me to see that Netflix is continuing with all these anime adaptations. Clearly, somebody likes them.
Yeah, they did one because they did it. They've done a couple. They did one for Bleach, which wasn't really all that noteworthy, but then they did one for Full Metal Alchemist that was supposedly really good, and I think that they did that after they did Death Note, so who knows.
All right.
I know the person who did the original score for Cowboy Bebop is coming back to do the score for the new TV show, so that's at least exciting. Keeping that around.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what else. The same day that they did the Stranger Things announcement, they also dropped and announced that they were doing season 5B of Lucifer, as well as they dropped that on the live stream. They did a table reading of their first episode together.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool. Bring the entire original cast back together to like read that first episode all over again.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool, and especially seeing like all of us operating again in this like Zoom atmosphere. You know what I mean? To get to see like professionals doing it as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the few really cool things that came out of the whole Zoom theater boom, was that like we got a lot of casts reuniting to do old table reads. Like I remember the Scott Pilgrim cast got together, the cast of Community got together. I think the cast of The Office got together. Like a bunch of those old casts came back together to do readings for like charity or just for fun. And I think it's always really cool to see actors like reprise roles that they played years ago and like get to do that again.
100%.
I'd love to do that someday.
Yeah,
right?
Go
like,
back to something with an original cast, for sure.
That's how you know you're iconic.
Yeah.
That's how you know you did it right.
Exactly.
Definitely. And I really loved that Scott Pilgrim reading. I feel like out of all of them, that was definitely my favorite thus far.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That cast.
So
it's
good.
amazing to me that like we didn't know who Brie Larson was. We didn't know who Aubrey Plaza or Anna Kendrick or like Chris Evans was the dude from Fantastic Four, and like
yeah,
I know
everyone was so small back then. I mean, not Michael Cera. He was a big name.
But like Brandon Roth, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was the only one, really.
Also, they just dropped the deluxe album for Scott Pilgrim. I think it was last week.
Finally,
and they
Brie
finally
Larson's vocals.
Yes,
they
finally gave Brie Larson's Black Sheep.
That's the version we all wanted to listen to.
I know.
I'm gonna add that for sure.
Don't get me wrong, the original band is great, but like
it's not the same effect though. It's not the same effect. So I feel like those were a lot of like the really big noteworthy ones. Yeah, there's a new series coming out with Jason Momoa called Sweet Girl. It's a action film that he's going to be in. I saw the trailer for it. It looks pretty good. It looks like it's one of those like somebody getting captured and Jason Momoa running through the city type vibes.
He's kind of riding the Liam Neeson wave.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like not quite John Wick, but like
getting there.
Exactly.
Netflix is just really coming with like a lot of content this year.
Yeah.
It's exciting to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, we knew they announced that this was going to be the year that they were dropping something consistently every week, right?
It was a movie a week, but still, even with that, we're still getting more shows and more announcements of new things happening, and
for sure, yeah,
they're not slowing down.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
Yeah, especially with a lot of shows that like I feel like during that period of us going into like what we've been experiencing the past year, you know what I mean? That it was like, well, you're stopping production on all these shows. Like, are they done? Like, are you gonna have the funding to pick these shows back up? You know what I mean?
They gotta keep going.
I know.
Will be forever.
Art is essential.
Yes.
It's really nice to watch things open back up and to see like work coming back.
Yeah, to get to like some semblance of normalcy. You know what I mean?
Vaccinations.
So I think the last big announcement that they did was that they confirmed Zack Snyder's new TV series that he's doing on Norse mythology.
I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in.
Yep.
I don't need to see anything about it. Zack Snyder is so much better at miniseries than at movies, so I'm still here. Let's go.
They have only given the title to the show.
Hit me with it.
Twilight of the Gods.
I'm in.
Okay. Yeah.
Take my money. Take my money. Here.
Yo, Mike, what did you think of the Snyder Cut?
Oof.
A popular podcast topic.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I did not like Batman v Superman, and I think the last DCEU movie that I liked was Aquaman.
Fair.
I started watching the original cut of the Justice League. I remember when it first came out, and I just like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But the Snyder Cut, it made me so excited. It got me both very excited and very sad at the same time.
Because you're like, oh, what's next is gonna be it's not happening.
No, I remember there was a moment of like, oh, can we do spoilers? Is that like a thing?
Oh yeah, I think it's late enough.
It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Warning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Warning. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
So there was a moment that I looked that while me and Logan were watching it, I was like, you know, what'd be really dope. You know, what'd be really really cool, is if they had Martian Manhunter in here. And it was like right at the beginning of the movie, and I was like, that's like really the only, that and like Jon Stewart are the two things that I'm missing in this movie. I want it so bad. Exactly. Exactly. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then that moment where he walks out of the apartment as Superman's mom and closes the door, and I was like, oh!
Yeah. Yo,
but it just made me sad. It made me sad because there's like so much potential with that movie to have set everything up, but I feel like DC's trying to play catch up too bad. You know what I mean? And had they left that as a standalone movie and then launched from there, they'd have been fine.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the first Justice League, is that they were like taking the formula of a Marvel movie and they were like, okay, we'll just edit together like this and it'll be like
it'll be great,
superheroes. But
yeah,
I feel like Zack Snyder actually like made it an epic film.
Oh,
yeah, and he had a great cast to do it. Like, I know that not a lot of people agree with me on this, but like, I think Ben Affleck is a great Batman.
I loved him.
I think that he's a great Batman.
Totally.
You know, so like, yeah, I think he had the formula to do it. However,
Zack Snyder needs time, and that's fine. That's why we're giving him TV shows.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this Zack Snyder show.
Yeah, you got any other news for us? Because
yes,
hitting
The Witcher. The Witcher season 2 is coming, and they just dropped the first looks at what Ciri is gonna look like in the new season. And let me tell you, she looks badass. I'm very excited to see it. Did you guys see The Witcher? The first season of The Witcher?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have problems with some of the time differences.
But
I liked it a lot.
I
figured it out.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. Once I caught on that things weren't happening in chronological order, I was like, oh, okay, I think I understand what's happening right now.
Right. And like, I feel like that was on purpose. I think a lot of people were like, they shouldn't have done that. It was confusing. And I was like, you were supposed to be confused. That's what they wanted. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it didn't work.
That's exactly what I say to everybody about it all the time, because other than that, it's really, really, really good. And I think that even just talking about The Witcher kind of leads me to a separate thought that I wanted your guys' opinion on. How do you guys feel about video games being adapted into movies and how hard that they're doing it?
We have talked about this, haven't we? It's tricky. I've been saying this for weeks. I'm so curious about Mortal Kombat. Like, I want to see it because the trailer looked so dope. But the idea of video games becoming movies, I don't know.
It's just so hard.
Uncharted.
You're taking an interactive media and making it non-interactive anymore. That's so hard to do.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, I feel like it's one of those things where, for me, I constantly have to look back to other references. Like, I'm not even talking about references like in the 90s or in the 80s of people doing it, you know what I mean? I'm talking about like the last time that they rebooted Tomb Raider, which was like 4 or 5 years ago, that it was being pushed really hard, that it was like Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider, and then it came out and nobody said anything about it.
People like passed over it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the ads were everywhere, but who was talking about it?
I feel like a lot of studios that could handle this type of material weren't picking it up, i.e. like HBO picking up The Last of Us, right? I'm excited for that because we've seen some great stuff come out of HBO. Like, that I'm excited for, but like, again, like you were saying, Uncharted makes me a little worried. Tom Holland, great cast for a young Nathan Drake. I think so. For a young version of him. But the story that they're telling is the story of the flashbacks that they had in the 4th game. So like he's already at that like teenage, on the cusp of being 20.
Okay.
It would have been different for me had they been like this is like prime Nathan Drake, because I'd have been like, well, why didn't, personally me,
Nathan
why
Fillion.
didn't, yeah, exactly, why did you not talk to Nathan Fillion, especially after he did that whole fan-made film?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen that, but
I heard about it. I think I might have seen a clip, but not the whole.
it's very,
Fan-made
very,
films are always so interesting to me. Like there are some of those that I'm like, especially like the Harry Potter universe fan-made films, where
Mhm.
it's like some people put some like real time and real intense like.
You and I watched one, didn't we, Logan?
Yeah, we watched one about the Longbottoms for the Harry Potter universe, and it was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think the thing that, like, especially talking about the Uncharted fan-made film that they did, the thing that I like the most is not just the story and how well Nathan Fillion was able to play that part, like everybody thought that he was going to be able to, right? It's the fact that they took the usage of the camera angles within the video game and they used those camera angles in the short itself. So like there's a moment where he breaks out of the chair and he runs and he crashes through a window and does like a somersault on the floor, and when it picks up as if we were playing the video game off of his right shoulder, the way that he's framed, you know what I mean? So it's like I agree, there are some like fan made films that you can tell about how much effort that they put in.
For sure. Speaking of people putting a lot of effort into something, I know, Mike, you haven't watched it yet, but Jacob and I got to experience the beauty of Bo Burnham's Inside. And I gotta say, wow.
It's a masterpiece, Mike.
Truly.
I think
Really?
without spoiling anything, let's just describe this special.
It is not a stand-up special.
Okay.
It's a one-man show.
And it is a quarantine love project.
Yeah.
Masterfully executed. He has mastered comedy, delivery, performance.
His cinematography is beautiful.
The cinematography is beautiful, the editing is beautiful, and it's all Bo Burnham.
That's what I was gonna say. Isn't most of it done? Most, if not all of that whole thing done by him.
The only things he didn't do were some of the sound mixing and the coloring. And then he had like 2 producers.
That's still wild, though.
Our friend Alyssa Alicio, her cousin helped with editing, I think, in post-production, and I think his name is Chris Rush. Shout out Chris Rush.
That's super dope. Talk about a dude that wears multiple hats, man.
Oh my goodness, he's so talented.
All the hats
know?
I wear are off to Bo Burnham. Definitely check that out. It is top on my recommended list.
High
Word.
on that.
Word. I'll definitely be checking that out. I might check it out right after this, man.
We haven't seen Bo since we saw him in Portchester.
That's right. We saw him in Portchester, boy. Ooh.
Sophomore year of college, we ended up seeing Bo Burnham.
Could have been
Was-
freshman.
Yeah?
Okay.
Could have been
Was that
freshman.
What If? That whole...
No, it was Make Happy.
Make Happy.
Oh, yes. Okay. Got you.
Great show.
Got you.
Great show.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
But I will
Weren't
say
you-
this, Bo's energy is so different when he is alone in a room versus when he is on stage in front of a crowd of people.
Yeah.
I bet.
Try to be funny when stuck in a room.
It's one of the lines. Think on that.
Ooh. So good. I've watched it twice. I watched it with my mom and I cried. I watched it with Jacob and Jeremy and I cried. It was, it's a lot.
I think that it's definitely... hearing all these great things about the special itself, I think it's really cool to point out that like there was a very big brief period between his last comedy special and this one that he stopped doing stand up and he was just like purely working. How many films did he put out in that time?
8th grade, he wrote a bunch of stuff and then he acted in Promising Young Woman.
Yes. So, like, I think especially, like, just going through all that just to come back to the thing that, like, you originally did, you know what I mean?
And do
Super
it
impressive.
so well.
Super impressive.
I heard Bo had a film that he wrote coming out soon, right? Is that in production?
He had a couple last I looked on IMDb, but none that I've heard that were, like, happening.
Okay. All right. Cool.
It's exciting to see a bunch of new stuff come out. Speaking of new stuff coming out, I would like to return to a segment that we did like 7 or 8 podcasts ago. It's a segment that Jeremy created. I'm doing it in honor of him. This segment is called Hey Jacob. So, hey Jacob, why don't you tell us about Loki and key us into the content we're consuming this week?
All right. Well, I recently watched the first episode of Loki, and let me tell you, it is fire. Disney Plus has been doing Marvel limited series as part of what Phase 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
So it started with WandaVision, which we talked about.
One division.
Went on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was
so good.
fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
So good.
And I think that we are returning to a beloved character, Loki, in this one, and they are doing some interesting things with the universe that we all have known to love. They are really diving deep into this character. This show is a love note to the character, and they have been doing just like such a deep dive. It is clear into all the choices that have been made, and it is really interesting seeing this character study play out.
Nice.
There's one thing that I'm worried about in this show. It's how they use comedy. You know how there's like random funny moments in these Marvel things?
Yeah.
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 It's ever present, but I gotta keep reminding myself that shows are for kids too. It's not just the old audience that they're playing to. It's not. It's all generations. It's for the kids too. So
Gotta
yeah.
hook the new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say that Owen Wilson is very charming. It is so weird seeing him in the Marvel universe interacting with such an iconic character.
For sure.
But I love the guy. So it's great seeing him. I should also shout out Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who is amazing. I really loved the first episode, and I'm excited to see the rest of the series. I'm a fan of how Disney Plus is using the Marvel Cinematic Universe to
For sure
tell new stories based on all this old,
Agreed.
Comic book lore. It's fantastic. I think that Stanley would have been proud.
And we got Black Widow coming next.
Yeah.
And we got Black Widow coming next, which looks like a very interesting story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom's really excited for that one.
Oh yeah. One of my favorite villains in like all of Marvel.
Taskmaster.
I love Taskmaster so much. He's so cool.
Awesome. Yeah, very much looking forward to that. Should we talk about some content we've been consuming?
Yeah, you've kicked us off. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, I'm going to go through some music that I've been listening to real quick, and then I'll pass the torch. Recently, Mateo Arias, released a new album, Soul, which is...
He's doing a new movie,
fantastic.
yes?
He is doing a new movie with his brother, Moises Arias.
Yes.
And
that looks phenomenal.
It looks phenomenal. I am very much looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. We will talk much more about it when it gets released, but you talking about his album made me think about that.
Yeah. Anyway, his album is like Colombian acoustic guitar mixed with trap beats.
Okay.
You go lo-fi, it gets groovy. So check that out. If you're looking for more of like a New York hip hop trap album, Vinny Fanta dropped 10 Lives. If you're looking for like some music that'll make your face go like,
Love it.
If you're ever in that mood, I'm sure you'll find it. I listened again to the songs from Inside by Bo Burnham. The album is out there, so after you've seen the special, check out the album to hear those songs and familiarize yourself with the lyrics that you want to learn so badly. Remi Wolf dropped a single called Liz, like pop music. It's good. It's a great single.
Nice.
John Mayer dropped another single for his album Sob Rock, coming out July 16th. Excited about that. The new song is good. It's called Last Train Home. Samia dropped a new EP, Scout, which I've been listening to. I love Samia. Shout out Samia. We love her on this podcast.
We truly do.
Blackwolves. And last but not least, Billie Eilish, Lost Cause. Good song off of her new album, which has not fully released yet, but there are like 4 singles available to listen. Happier Than Ever. That is what I've been enjoying in my ear holes.
Nice, man. Some good picks.
Thank you. Thank you. Mike, would you like to go next?
Sure. Keeping on this music trend, I got one for you guys. I have had the great honor of listening to Olivia Rodrigo's Sour. And let me tell you, it is bringing me back to those old Paramore days. It's so good. It's such an emotional ride and roller coaster that's extremely relatable for anybody that's been in love and been in a relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely one of those things that's it's relatable to all ages. You know, and it's definitely giving me, again, it's warming that alternative side to my heart, which also brings me to Will Smith's Transparent Soul. I love it. It's so good. I love how all these artists are kind of like dipping in and bringing back this like emo punk.
Travis Barker is just going around to artists and just being like, "You do pop punk now."
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
You do that. It's so good. It's so good. I'm like, MGK, look what you started.
Yeah, some great new music.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, so as far as like, I've been watching a lot of. I just finished season 3 of Castlevania, which was really, really cool.
Nice.
Definitely, if you like gothic period animation and a story about like Dracula, it's fantastic. The animation is great, the action is great, the story and the characters are extremely well written. I've been finding myself on a really big binge of animation, so I've been watching that. I just finished an anime that came out a while ago called Your Lie in April, which I will say this, be wary, because Your Lie in April, though it looks very, very wholesome, will leave you crying almost after every episode. But I say it's probably top 5 anime, in my opinion, of all time.
Jacob, have you seen Your Lie in April?
No, I haven't seen Your Lie in April. I know that I would love it, though.
It's so
Mike,
good.
you should check out, there's a song called Your Lie in April by Alex, who is Peter's younger brother, Alex.
Yes.
Okay.
So check out that song, Your Lie in April. It's like...
About the show.
Yeah, shout out Alex.
I definitely will. Because it was just so good. So I did that, and I watched Demon Slayer's Mugen Train, which was another one that was just like, oh god, take my heart out, please, and just like stab it in the chest. It's so good, but it's definitely one of those another emotional roller coaster. But yeah, so that's kind of where I've been.
Nice. Logan?
Let me finish this off. Of course, Inside. Bo Burnham. Watched it twice. Amazing. Because we watched it right after we recorded the last podcast, we didn't get to talk about it. Minari. Fantastic movie.
Woo! What a banger.
Woo! So good. Highly recommend anybody watch that. Hey, guess what, Americans? You gotta get used to subtitles. I'm sorry. It's gotta happen. You gotta do it. So just commit. You got it. I have been continuing to play Apex since Jeremy left. Me and Mike have been going in, duoing it up, getting some wins. Very excited. Road to Platinum.
Yeah.
I've been finishing up Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is the second of like 6 Assassin's Creed games that I'm trying to play. So like we're trying to hustle our way through it. I have been listening to a few things. Brockhampton came out with a new deluxe edition of their last album, Roadrunner. This edition is called Roadrunner New Light, New Machine Plus Pack. It's got 4 new songs. They're all great. The whole album's amazing. Makes me very happy.
Yeah, that whole album literally is amazing.
Oh, yeah. No skips, all
No
bangers,
skips. They're all
all
good.
emotional, so good. I've also been listening to the Inside album. I've been listening to Sour, Deja Vu, and Good For You Hit Different. And finally, I discovered it recently. I was having like kind of a rough week, and I needed something to like spurt my inspiration to like party and like dance on my fire escape while I was like standing outside chilling. And so I found The Internet Killed the Rock Star by Modson, specifically track 10, which is entitled Porn Star. It is a great song, and it got me through a lot of my like emotional moments this week. Was just like jamming out to that song. So if you need a song to just like bop to, it's great. That is really the content I have been consuming as of recently. There's some really cool stuff coming out this week that all the info about it will be below because we didn't really get the chance to talk about it. Some new movies, specifically, actually, one that I do want to bring up with Mr. Jorge because I know you're a huge fan of it. In the Heights releases this week. We're excited.
Yeah. Super excited. I think it dropped on HBO Max last night. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it dropped like today.
Okay.
Catch me watching that.
We're in it. We're happening.
I'm very excited for that.
Amazing.
And then Paramount Plus dropped a new movie called Infinite that a lot of people are really excited about. Mark Wahlberg, Dylan O'Brien. Looks like an action-packed joyride. So, yeah, some cool stuff coming out this week. We'll see if we have any time to watch it before the next episode of the podcast. But check it out. It'll all be in the description along with the timestamps in this episode. So, yeah.
All right. Without further ado, I'm Jacob Wade.
I'm Logan Riley Bruner.
I'm Michael Jorge.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next week. Peace out. Be a geek.